So hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss about array list. So in the last video we have discussed what is array and how we can implement it. So why we will use array list? So array list is used when we don't know the size of array, and this array list is growable in nature. So what is growable in nature means, if you are creating array, for example, if you want to store 10 elements, you need to give the size of that array before inserting data to array. I think in array list, if you want to store data, for example 2 data you want to store, so there is no need to give that size in the beginning. And if you want to store more than 10 values, in that case, so you can perform this insertion or adding these values to the array list easily. There is no need to change this size every time. So this size will shrink, it will increase or decrease based on your operation, so that will happen in background. So that's the like resizable and growable. And array list is, so like in which situation we should go for this array list. So array list is used when we have for example we have multiple, different data types of elements. For example, we have integer, we have float, we have object. So in different data types are there, but we want to store in single array list, single array. So we can store using array list. It's like homogeneous elements we can store using array list. And if you are using this array list, so what is called, if you are in insertion order is like, for example, you have added 2, then 5, then 10. So in that this insertion order, whatever you are adding, in the same order you can retrieve data. It's like insertion order is getting followed here. And if you want to insert null, it's also possible here, so you can insert null also. So in what is the best case we should go for array list? So if your frequent operation is retrieving of data, so if you want to display, so in that case we must go for array list. And if you don't know the size in the advance, in that case also we can go for this array list. It's like the introduction, and in which case we should use array list. So next we'll go and implement code, like how we can we can use array list also. I think this that is in collection framework, but in real time if you want to learn that concept, we will go and code like how this implementation happens. So this code we can go to this editor and we'll try to write the code and implement these methods, like how we can add elements to the array list, and how we can perform operations like get, if you want to display data for particular index, that we can perform that operations. And next, the how we can delete some elements from the array list. So for that we will write separate methods and we will try to execute. So let's go and start with the class. So for this we will write the class name as ArrayList, and yeah. So what are the variable is required to start with array list? So we have already discussed array list is growable in nature. So like size is some, in the beginning we write, for example, size in the beginning is, we don't know size, so internally we use this size or initial capacity call it initial capacity we will have, and if you want to increment, then we will see how we can increment. And we need some other variable called, so in which index we are going to store data, index variable we will take, and we will have like what is the size of the array list and all size. So these are the variable we can use. And yeah, array, so we will take array also. So all this variable will make it private, because outside this class we should not able to call this, we should not modify all these values. So we will make this variable as private, and we will take as static. So once this size is, this initial capacity whatever we are declaring, so we should not, the other programmers should not be able to change it. So for that we will make only one copy, and we'll make it final also, so there is no need of change, and one copy is will be created. So we'll write variable name is initial underscore capacity. In the beginning, if we'll create this array list, so in the beginning we will take as, so 10 elements we can store in the beginning. Okay, data type, yeah, data type will take int. Okay, so okay, yeah, int. Next we will take next variable as private, that will be also private. We want to create array, but what we have discussed, we can store different types of elements in array list. So it means if we take integer, we can't store some other value, some other object or data type values. So what we can do, we can take parent class of all the class. So in Java, so parent class of all the class is object. So we will call this object that is present in lang package. Yeah. So object, we will take reference as object array. Yeah. So array, and the name of the array will make it as object array. Yeah. So we are able to create this object array reference we have. Next, what is required? So array, we have array, and we have initial capacity, and anything else is required. Okay, yeah, size. So size, how will create? So private size, the data type of size will be integer int, and size. So what is the size of array list? Size of array, and we will use the private. So if you want to insert data in this array, so we should have index also. For this index, we will take integer index reference. Yeah. So these all values is getting, yeah. So next, what we can do, whenever we are calling this constructor, we should able to initialize these values, I mean default values. Then we can perform delete, add, and all operation. So we'll call this array list default constructor will create it, and we need to initialize it with. So what we can do, first we'll create this. So object array we have, but only reference we have, but we did not have created. Once this constructor is getting called, so we should able to create this object for this data type of object array. So this dot, what is the reference of object array? So object array we should create internally. So object array of size. So what is the initial size we will take? Initial capacity will take as 10. So same variable you can pass. So what it means, this line will create this object array of type object, okay, with initial capacity of 10. Yeah, this is the line and explanation of this. And here we are using this as object array, so it will refer to this class variable. So this was the array is created. If array is created, then we will see what is the size. So this dot, we have size reference equal to, so size initial capacity and size will be okay same. So initial capacity will store as the size. So how many data we can store? So maximum size will be this one, 10. Yeah, so constructor is ready. Now what we can do, we will perform operation like add. How we can add objects? Here it will take object as data type. So this method we need to implement. How we can implement? So come here. Yeah, so we will write a method to add object to the array list. So we will like access modifier as public, and it won't return anything, so void and add. So it will take different types of data types. So we will take as object, so any type of data it will take. So object and reference is O. And now we should implement this logic. So before implement this logic, we will just write system.out.println just to see we are able to here get this data, and so which data the user is going to pass here. So first we will see in which index this data is getting stored. So index semicolon plus this dot index plus, so what is the size of this array? Once this array is created, so we'll write here size here is, you can call this dot size variable plus what is the length of this array. So length of array, how we can, okay, array list size length, array list length space plus, so this dot, so what is the reference of this object we have created? So object array, and in this object array we will call this method called length. Yeah. So basic all the information we are able to print it here once this add method is getting called. So now what we can do, we should insert data in array list. So we will write how we can insert. So we can insert this data into array list. So we have index also, okay, yeah. So this object array of index is variable is index equal to the data we are passing in this variable in this method. So we are taking object, so the reference of object is O, so we can pass O here. So this data will come and be stored in this array, and once this data is getting stored, we need to increment this index. So once this data is stored in 0th index, next time if somebody will store, so it should go in index 1. So what we can do, we can increment this index value, so this dot index plus plus, yeah. Okay, so this is the logic to insert data into array list, or maybe we can add, yeah. But there will be some situations where maybe this array list is full, so in that case we need to create some new bigger size of array and store all this value. So for this, what we can do, we will check. So how we can check? We will use if condition, check this dot index. So whatever the index we are, for example this initial capacity is 10, if you are storing this value in 10, so it will throw exception because the index will be 0 to till 9. So in that case, so this index will be equal to this array size. So array size is this dot size minus 1. If the index is equal to this array list size, in that case what we can do, we should have new method to create new object array and copy all these values, then insert it. So insert code is already done, so create new object. So we can define one more method. The method name is create, or what we can increase object array. Array size, okay. So how we can increment, so we'll have separate method for this. So we'll copy this method name, yeah. So we'll write this method as private, so internally it will get called once this array is full. It won't return anything, so void and the method name, and we need to write the implementation for this code. So it means this array list is full, so we need to create new object array and copy all this value. How we can do, so we will check this size and this capacity, okay. So initial capacity is our 10. So how we can increment, we will write this initial capacity plus this initial one more time, we will add 10. So once this object array is of size capacity of 10, so 10 will be added, so it will be 20. so we can insert 20 values. So if you want 21st, then again it will be getting called this method. So what we can do, we can call this dot size. So this size we need to increment. How we can increment? We will call this dot size plus initial capacity. So 10 value is getting stored, so we want 10 more space. Yeah, so 10 more space will be there, and we can copy these values. How we can copy? Once this method is getting created, so we can copy. So code to copy all values from older array list. So we can use for loop, and we'll start from where? We'll start from 0. So the type will be integer, I equal to 0, I is less than, it will go till size. Yeah, so size is getting grown. Yeah, this dot size minus 1. So because this index will start from 0 and it will go till 9. Yeah, so 1 minus 1 and I plus plus. Now take all this value from older array list to the new one. So okay, new one array, we need to so how will copy? First we need to create this new object, new array list. So we'll call object array new object array equal to, not equal to, okay, array new object of size. So what is the size? Size will be we can call directly to the class member variable this dot size. Yeah, and come here and copy all older new array list. First we'll take new array we want to copy. So new object array of index I equal to what was the reference for this object array of I. Yeah, so from copy all the data from object array to new object array. Yeah, so we are able to just copy all the data. Once this data is getting copied, we need to make change. Yeah, after yeah, size. So this dot object array will become new object array. So reference of new object will be stored in object array. So this is getting done. So how we can call? So we'll have this main method. So main method, okay, we can call here also class, just to check this method is working or not. So class main, and we will have main method. In this we will call this array list. So array list of array list ArrayList equal to new ArrayList. Yeah, so once this constructor is getting called, it will come to here and it will initialize. So this new object array will be created with initial capacity 10. So once this is created, so we should be able to call this array list with add method. So add method is implemented and we will try to store 1 to 4. Yeah, and system.out.println. Okay, so array list, it will it's index 0 okay. So this add method is getting called, so we are passing 1 to 4. So 1 to 4 will come here in this reference. It's calling this system.out.println. Index is 0. This is first element, and the size is, initial capacity is 10. So this size is 10, and total length of this array list is 10. So it's getting printed, and we are calling this reference. So reference is string @14. Okay, this has code value is getting printed. Okay, so till now it's working. So this was the method to add. So next we will see next method. Yeah, add is calling internally this increase object array. So this is, yeah, it's getting close. So now we will write method to we are able to get add, so we can display also, or we can get these values based on index, and we can display it. So we'll write this method with access modifier public. It will return object, so we don't know the data type. So okay, object get, so we will pass integer index. So int I index will pass. Now we should be able to get data from object array. So what we can do, we can return on this dot object array. So object array will pass simply the index of the array is I. So I it should display the object. So come here, our array list. System.out.println ArrayList dot, you can call it get. So index for this is 0. Go and run. So we are able to store this data 1 to 4, and we are able to print it also. So this was the method. So anyhow this line is not required, just delete this line. So we are able to store data and we are able to display also. But I think there is some condition. If we'll comment this line, and we don't have data. In that case, if we'll try to get call this data, so it will give null. We don't have anything, so we need to check everything. Before returning this object, first this method, or maybe if we'll call 10, it's throwing null point. Oh, array index of bound exception. So this object is ArrayList is getting created with maximum size 10, but we are calling 10th one. So index is 0 to 9 only, so we can't call 10, so it will throw exception. So these things we should able to handle this error, runtime error. So how we can handle, so this code we need to see. So in this get method, so go inside this get method, and to change this logic before returning, so we will check whether, or we'll check we can use this if condition. If whatever the index we want to retrieve data from, is it greater than the size of array? If this is the condition, so we can tell, hey, this array list is not having this index, so we can't give this element from array list. So this dot size and -1 why? Because index starts from 0, so -1, and this is the condition. In that case we can simply say we don't have this index in our array list, so throw, so it will be index of bound exceptions, or index of bound exception. So array new, so we'll create object for array index out of bound exception. You can pass this message to the caller, whoever will call, they will get. Okay, yeah, this is the one condition, and we can call here, we want 20th index if we want to strip data, but we have only one data stored at index. Yeah, it's giving. So array will be thrown. Maybe if they are passing index less than 0, in that case also we need to check here. So here if condition is getting close, we will check else if maybe index is 0 or less than 0. In that case we can check if index is less than 0, so we'll say, so you are not inserting this correct index, so throw new exception. So what is the exception? Index if they are given less than 0. So negative index not allowed. Okay. Okay, so if this else condition, else if is throwing index of error, so our method need to handle it. So okay, what we can do, we will also throw this exception. Yeah. So what's happening here, if we are want to get this data from ArrayList, so index will pass here, so it will be the integer data type. We are checking if this index is greater than our ArrayList size. In that case we will show, so this index is not present in current ArrayList. So we are throwing this array index of bound exception with this message in the question mark. Okay, if they are giving this index less than 0, that is also not the good thing. So that we can check using else if condition. If this is not correct, then come here. If this is not there, then at last we will return here. So we will check if index is less than 0, then throw exception negative index not allowed. This message we have passed. Okay, so how we can check whether this code is working? I hope this code should work. Okay, unexpected. Okay, so compile time error. So we are not going to handle this array, this error. So simply this method, this line is throwing error. So we can, what we can do, we can here we will also throw this error exception. We will try to run this code. So the exception we are getting here, see. So ArrayList, this is the line it's getting called. So what we are giving index from 0. Okay. So 0 index already having data, so there is no any exception. So our code is working. We'll give 9. So in the 9th index there is nothing is there, so it's giving null. So nothing is there means null. That's not the problem. And what we can do, yeah, so these two methods, add method and our get method is implemented. Now what we can do, we can implement next logic, and this method is to add ArrayList. Next is get. If somebody wants to delete, how they can delete? Okay, so we can write method for this, delete or remove. Remove method. remove method. So which data they want to delete. Okay, so we can pass here index. So go to this index and delete this data. So we can write this method as public void remove or delete, anything is fine. So remove, so we'll give, okay, go to this index and delete. So index is I. Now, so before deleting this index, so we need to check whether this index is exist or not. Maybe they will give less than 0 or greater than this our size of this array list. So same thing we need to check. So this check is required here. Okay, we are throwing error. So exception is throwing this method, so that could be wrote here. Next, once this check is done, now we can delete it. So before deleting this code, we will print here system.out.println. We want to delete this object. Okay, object is getting deleted. So which object? So we can specify which object is getting deleted. If somebody wants to delete, so this method will be getting called, and we can print this message to the console. So go to this dot object array of which one, that index one. So which index they are passing, so that is in index is variable mi. So this object will be deleted. This is the message, and the logic to delete is specific from array list. So we can use loop again. We will go and delete. We'll start from where? We'll start from 0 and we'll go till where? We'll go till the okay, object array dot length -1. Okay, so 0 to till this length, yeah, and we will keep on incrementing. Once we got this index value, so object of I, so what we can do, we don't want in middle values, that index value, so directly go to this object array and simply will make this I to I plus 1. So this values will erase from that index. So I plus 1 we will do here, and this is done, and index will be decremented by 1 because here one index we are skipping here, so that values will be eligible for garbage collection. And once this method is executed, then index is less 1. So what we can do, so we need to decrement this index by 1, and this is the code to remove it. So we'll perform ArrayList dot add of 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, my name Pankaj, some Laila, Majnu. Mm-hmm. 100. Okay, some values we have here. And once this data is getting added, so we are here displaying. So we just to separate this line, so we will make here. Once this data is getting saved, display it. Okay, this is extra line of code here. It's so index 0 till 9 is going. So if we want, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 till here it's getting saved. So these things we are not able to save this data. Okay, so this line is also not getting executed, so there is error. So this line number, okay, yeah, 83, and it's going to before increment. Okay, we need to check. Okay, go to the inside this method. 11th is not getting area, so this line is getting called. And it will come inside this method. So private void increase object array size. Okay, so we are making this array dot this dot size equal to this dot size plus initial capacity. Okay, so we came here. Okay, object equal to new object array of this dot Okay. Whenever we are okay. Oh shit. So size is not getting increment. Oh. So we need to make change here. This dot. Oh, till object array we need to go. Then copy of not size. So whatever the object array length is there, -1. Okay, from 0 to till this object, not this size. Okay, then copy in this new arrays. Okay, next run. Okay, so finally we are able to save this data to the array list in custom array list. Okay, so we are able to add more than 10 values. Okay, so 9th one we are giving get also. So here add method is getting called and testing of get method is also getting is working fine. So 9th index, so we'll check here. Yeah, so 9th is Laila, so we are able to print here. So 9th index is getting printed, and if you want which method, ArrayList dot okay, remove method which is not yet executed. So remove which one? I want to delete this one. So index for this is index for this is 8. Once this is deleted, again we'll print print 8th one. So 8th is deleted, it will take not 8, it will take 10th one. 8 is deleted, so it will take 9. Run here. Yeah, so Laila for this line, before printing this Laila, make this separation so we are able to add all these values to the array list. So the index wise is getting added, and this is separate line just to make it readable, and till here this line came. Then is we want to fetch data, we are calling this get method this index. So in 9th index we have Laila, so this one is 9th index, and we are deleting this which one, 8th index we are deleting. So 8th 7, 8th 9, and 10th is ArrayList dot get of 8th one. See, so in 9th index it was Laila, but the thing is 8th is getting deleted, so 9th becomes 8th now. So the value of index 9th is stored in 8th now. If we'll fetch 9th currently, so it will be Manju, because this one is deleted here, so one index shifting happened. Yeah. Index of 9th So next, it is deleted means it will come to Layla. Yeah, it's fine, working fine. This was all about ArrayList, how we can implement our custom ArrayList and how we can perform all the operations. So this was all about this ArrayList operation and implementation part. If you have any queries, you can go to this description line and you can find this link from there. Just you can comment it out, or if this you like this videos, please do subscribe and like this video. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye bye.